As we prepare to center ourselves, we come to focus on our sacred word, on our yes to God, and we bring our body to the help of that intention. Whether you're sitting on a cushion or on a chair with your feet flat on the floor, your back is straight and your hands are resting comfortably, either on your thighs or in your lap, with nothing tangled up. Now close your eyes lightly. Bring your attention to the crown of your head and just feel the weight of your head on your shoulders. Let it just sit on your shoulders, allowing any tensions, any furrows in your brow to smooth out, allowing the corners of your eyes to drop down, your cheeks to melt away, and the corners of your mouth to drop down too. Now bring your attention to your shoulders and let them just sit on top of your body. You don't have to be holding them up. Then let the whole of the upper part of your body just drop down from your shoulders. Drop down to the seat of your chair and let the chair take your weight. Feel the heavy muscles in your thighs. Let them drop down. You don't have to manage anything just now. Now let your legs just hang down from your knees and drop to the floor. And now bring your awareness to your breath. Be aware of the breath flowing in and the breath flowing out. You're not trying to alter your breath, not trying to force anything. You're just observing the breath flowing in and the breath flowing out. The breath flowing in and the breath flowing out. Accepting the inflow and surrendering the outflow. So now you are ready to take up your sacred word, your mantra, to begin to say it inside of yourself from your heart center. Listening to the sound of it as you say it, giving it your attention, but without strain. There's no need to fight your distractions. Let them go by saying your word faithfully, gently, and attentively. And every time your attention has wandered off, which it will, whenever you recognize that your attention has wandered off, bring your attention back to the sound of your word, back to the sound of your yes to God.
attention and healing. Attention, pure attention, which is the opposite of distraction. If distraction is the sort of primal imperfection or primal state of dis-ease, then attention is healing. Attention is healthy. And attention leads to wholeness. The essence of prayer is attention, not intention, not wanting something. You do have to have an intention, otherwise you'd never sit down to meditate. But as soon as you have started to meditate, the intention has brought you so far, you then change gears. So the intention gets less and less intense, or you become less and less aware of it, you don't think about the intention, and it evolves or leads you into pure attention. So attention is healing and healthy. And anyone who has cared for anyone who is sick or tried to be with someone who is suffering will understand what that means. That to give your attention to someone in need, in pain, or in distress is the first step. And sometimes it's the only thing, it's the only step you can take. Healing happens in relationship. A young woman told me the other day she had treatment for breast cancer. She went back to see her doctor, and when she went into the room, he was looking at her file. His computer was on and he was looking at her file, and he was still looking at the file, and he said, "Sit down." And still looking at the file, not having looked at her yet, he said to her, "Have I seen you before?" And she said, "No, but I saw you." Because the last time I was here, you didn't look at me either. So that put him on his back foot, so he started to say, "I'm very busy, I have to see so many people every day, I'm sorry, but But that loss of the healing relationship is something that concerns us deeply, and probably also, almost certainly, affects the healing process. That sense of connection and trust, that means of communicating compassion within boundaries, but that relationship that channels compassion and care, that's what the word medicine comes from in a way. The prefix med, as in meditation, means care and attention. We all know that we feel better when we receive other people's attention, and when we feel that we are being cared for when we are in need, and when the shoe is on the other foot, and it is our responsibility or opportunity to give attention, to pay attention. We would all like to be able to do that generously and effectively, because we can see and we know the effect that has on the other person in their need. That care and attention, even if it doesn't cure you of every ache and pain, or even if it doesn't keep you physically alive, that care and attention is essential healing work, because it makes you feel more whole. It makes you feel more human and loved, of course. A little can go a long way. And even in a busy medical environment, or in the busy lives that people live, it's the quality of attention, rather than even the amount of time that you spend with the person, that makes the healing difference. This healing story from the Gospel of Mark. They reached Jericho, and as he left Jericho with his disciples and a large crowd, Bartimaeus, that is the son of Timaeus, a blind beggar, was sitting at the side of the road. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout and to say, "Son of David, Jesus, have pity on me." And many of them scolded him and told him to keep quiet. But he only shouted all the louder, "Son of David, have pity on me." Jesus stopped and said, "Call him here." So they called the blind man. Courage, they said, get up, he's calling you. So, throwing off his cloak, he jumped up and went to Jesus. Then Jesus spoke, "What do you want me to do for you?" "Rabboni," the blind man said to him, "Master, let me see again." Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has healed you." And immediately his sight returned, and he followed him along the road. So just think about that story, the encounter, how brief it is, how single-minded Bartimaeus' appeal is, how total. That's faith. It's not that he adhered to certain dogma or orthodoxy of belief. This is faith, this is pure connection, pure relationship. Remember the immediacy of Jesus' personal response. In this loud crowd, with all that noise, he heard Bartimaeus' genuine appeal. And then the question, because it is a relationship. Jesus wasn't looking at his computer when Bartimaeus comes into the room. He's saying, "What do you want me to do for you?" And Bartimaeus simply tells him, "I want to see again." There's no procedure here. The healing takes place in and through this connection, this healing connection. And all that Jesus says is, "Okay, it's done, go. Your faith has healed you. Your faith has been the power of this healing." The faith was a connection. It's a powerful little story. The more one reflects on what it's saying, I think the more it takes us into the understanding of healing. Just imagine how long this encounter with Jesus took for Bartimaeus. It's the quality of attention, the purity of attention, the present moment of attention that matters. And it's part of our own humility, part of our own limitations that, we're not God. We can't give unlimited, total attention to every suffering person in the world. But those we are with, we can do so. So attention is health, and it's part of the healing process itself. And that's why we all begin to feel better as soon as we receive attention. The attention that makes a difference to us, that makes us feel healthier and happier and better, is essentially a selfless attention. It's when somebody turns their attention and therefore their self, where your heart is, there your treasure is, Jesus said. So where your attention is, that's where you are. That's where you are. That's why attention, in this sense, is the heart of all relationships. Whether it's a 30-year-old marriage or, your first date. It depends where your attention is, where your attention really is, and how that attention can be sustained and grow. So attention, we could say, is health. It's certainly health-giving, and it's an essential part of the healing process itself. When we look at the divine aspect of attention, the highest source of attention, then we might even say that attention is love. Attention is the healing process. We begin, in other words, to feel better as soon as we receive attention. When we give our attention in that genuine way, selflessly and honestly, we feel better. And that no doubt explains something about meditation too. Meditation is this work of attention, and it's a choice, it's a work to give your attention. It's not passive, it's a giving. But in the giving, we also begin to experience that we are receiving. But it has to begin with the giving. And then very quickly, the work of attention becomes something so beneficial, so delightful, that, well, we don't exactly become addicted to it because it sets us free, but it certainly becomes a part of our life that we don't want to lose. In meditation, we commit ourselves to, and we begin to experience, a growth, a development, a change within ourselves that is felt in every aspect of our life and all our relationships. Simply because you're doing your best at this central point, the simplest and deepest part of yourself, to pay attention, that's all, just to be present, just to pay attention, and you do your best in this work. In other words, you keep returning to the work of the mantra. You lay aside the feeling of failure or inadequacy or when you feel overwhelmed by your distractions. You simply do your best, and that has a ripple effect from the center outwards. It will begin to manifest itself and show itself, this quality of attention, in everything you do. So in meditation then, we need to approach it with full recognition of our imperfection and get rid of this virus of perfectionism, but at the same time, we do no less than our best. And that's the approach that leads to growth and into a fuller wholeness as a person. If a person can be defined as someone who can pay attention, then your growth as a person, your personal growth, is the development or expansion of this capacity to pay attention. As I mentioned yesterday, you may not be the first person to see it, although you'll sense that it's happening, but somebody else you work with or live with, or your children or your spouse or your fiancé will say, you're changing.